My next guest has got an awesome fight coming up here at UFC Fight Night on February 20th. He's going to be taking on Nate the Train, Nate Landwehr. It is Julian Erosa back here on the program. Julian, how's it going, man?
Oh, it's going fantastic. Thanks for having me again, James.
Of course, man. We've been doing these for a while. Tell me how excited you were to get to fight Nate Landwehr. He's a pretty charismatic guy and a pretty entertaining fighter. This looks like a fight of the night on paper, if I may say so.
Yeah, I think, it's just nice to have a fight that's scheduled, but, it's good to have a guy that's willing to do kind of what I'm willing to do. We're both willing to push the pace and kind of just beat each other up and be more of an entertainment fight than a strategical fight. But obviously, there's a fine line between, being smart in there and then being willing to just let everything go and just have a good time in there.
Yeah, you mentioned, trying to get a fight. It's been a bit. I think June was the last time you fought last year. Was it just a matter of not getting the right fights, or what has been the reason for the layoff?
Right after the fight, I had a cut over my eye, and it had gotten infected, and I was already suspended by the UFC for 30 to 45 days because of the cut, because I got stitches, and then it got infected like a week later. Was on antibiotics, had staph cream for it just in case staph got into it, and then after the 45 days was up, training again. And I was actually training with the cut on my eye. I was just wearing headgear and just doing everything we normally do, and then I got coronavirus probably a couple of weeks after my suspension. And then, with the whole coronavirus thing, it was like, I did the 14-day quarantine, was in really good shape right before that, but it took me almost anywhere from like 6 to 8 weeks to really get my my conditioning and my endurance and my cardio back. And that was one thing I was a little worried about. We were talking about how the coronavirus can affect your respiratory system, and I didn't feel it like I didn't feel like there was anything in my lungs. I didn't feel anything like that. I just felt like I wasn't getting enough oxygen to my lungs, and my muscles felt real lethargic, and I would train once a day and just be done. And this was like even a couple of weeks of quarantine. I'd come back and train, and I was in really good shape, so I never had that as an issue. And I would train once a day, and it would start like that would be intense for me at the time. And it took me a while to get back to 2 a days, and then, so it was a couple of months after the coronavirus, and then I got an ear infection, was on more antibiotics for that, and, right now I'm 100% healthy and ready to go, and it's nice to have something lined up, but, yeah, it was just kind of like one thing after another, and the last thing I wanted to deal with was any of that. I wanted to get right back in there. I enjoyed the fight that I had with Sean. Obviously, a lot of people did as well, and I wanted to get a quick turnaround after I got done with the suspension the cut over my eye. But, one thing led into another, and sometimes you just got to slow down, and sometimes you got to get forced to slow down. And I think that's what it kind of did for me. But, anyways, we got a fight lined up, and we got a schedule ready to go.
Yeah, it seems like 2020 was bad for everyone. You talking about bad luck. I think, it just seemed like the theme of last year. So fresh start in 2021, right? So this is going to be a good fight. When did you actually find out about this fight? Because it kind of I heard like a report about it, but did you have a decent amount of notice for this fight on the 20th?
Well, I fought Sean on three or 4 days, so we had 5 weeks. So it's like an eternity for me. Having any kind of time is good, obviously, for weight and these kind of things, but honestly, I actually like the short notice fight only because you're not really worried about it. I'm already in the gym training, and I train more than, the average fighter, I think, on a regular basis. So I'm always in kind of a fight camp. I just enjoy doing this, so I'm always in the gym. Even if I don't have a fight. And that's what had set me up for the Sean Woodson fight. I was training for a fight without actually having a fight. And that's why when I got called up, I was willing to, get the weight down. The weight was already good. I was already in shape, and that's why I was able to take that fight. And so having 5 weeks, is, it's even better. Obviously, you can kind of plan things out a little bit, more strategically and have more of a game plan. But, I've always been one of those guys that's always just been in the gym ready to go. So, 3 days, 5 weeks, 5 months, a year, whatever it is, I'm always going to be ready. Unless, obviously things like coronavirus or infections and these kind of things happen, or injuries. But, you can't plan for injuries, so you just got to stay ready.
Let's talk about Nate Landwehr, 14-3 record. What do you know about him? How do you feel like you match up against him?
I know he had won a bunch of fights in Russia, and you got to be good. The M1, to fight over there, you got to be tough, and you got to be a durable guy. And I think that's what he brings to the table. Specifically, I didn't see anything that was like that he was like super good at. Like he wasn't like a, like he's not like an ace at anything. Like he's not like a boxer. He's not a kickboxer. He's not just a wrestler. He's not just a grappler. He's pretty evened out through everywhere, through all the fields of MMA. But what he really brings to the table is, his durability, his cardio, and his charisma. I watched the Darren Elkins fight, and he's screaming at him, and it's like, I enjoy that. If he starts screaming at me, I think it's just gonna bring more. When I fought Sean, I was kind of talking to him in the cage, and Landwehr was talking to Elkins in the cage. So I think it's just gonna kind of bring the best out of both of us. That's one thing I did see. He likes to put the pace on people. He likes to pressure people, and he's willing to take a shot to give a shot. So I got to be aware of that. I got to be a little bit more strategic. And I'm long and lankier than he is, and I got to keep him at the end of my punches and not let him bully me. That's what I think is his skill set is just pressuring people and being tough and durable.
Speaking of, time off and being a big guy, how's the weight cut going ahead of this fight? Because I know when you're off for a while, it can be a little bit tougher to do the cut.
Oh, the weight is weight. It's always kind of the same situation. It's not bad until it's bad. The weight cutting is fine until the week of. Then it's like that's when it really, everything kind of, comes down to it, and you gotta, really empty your body of the water, and that's only when it gets, a little bit of discomfort. Like right now, the weight's not a problem. Obviously, like I'm on top of my, my diet, and my body will slowly, start to thin out. But it's really only the last few days that really bother people. Unless you're doing it wrong. When I was a younger guy and I was cutting weight, I had no idea how to do it, and I was suffering for weeks, and drinking, a half a gallon of water and sweating out a gallon of water. I was doing things that didn't make sense because I had no idea how it worked. And now that I have it down, drinking a couple gallons of water a day and being on top of that, and really watching the carb and sodium intake and when I should be eating things and when I shouldn't be eating things, and taking all the supplements that the UFC provides, helping me with, recovery and all that kind of stuff. It all adds up. And, I'm 31, so it's not as easy as it was when I was 21. I could brutalize my body and go fight the next day and be just fine. Nowadays, it's like, I do a couple things wrong. You do a couple things wrong on a weight cut, and you might see it the next day. So, that's the weight cut's just as important as the fight. And, it just goes to show that I'm pretty on top of it. Taking Sean Woodson, we did a catch weight at 150, but within 3 or 4 days, actually 3 days of weigh-ins, or less than 72 hours, really, it was like Wednesday afternoon that I really knew about the fight. So probably 60-something hours, I was able to get as low as 148 and a half. So I was only 2.5 pounds away from actual featherweight. We met at 150, which, it was already a catch weight before I even was able to step in. So that helped me out for that. But I was only a couple pounds away, and I could have probably made it. So having any kind of time more than that is just, it's just icing on the top. So it's going to give me more time to get the weight down and be on top of it.
Who have been some of your main training partners for this camp?
I train with George Alcala, one of my main guys from back.
Congrats to him, by the way. I saw he's going to be a dad. Is he not?
Yeah. He's about to be a dad. So he's got that going on. But yeah, he's in the gym every day with me, and we've been tight since I've been here for about 3.5 years. He's been here for about 3, but we both came from Yakima, and we spent a couple years together over there. So he's kind of my main training guy when I'm going to fights and stuff, and we can count on each other and trust each other. And he's not necessarily built exactly like Nate is, but he kind of brings, he's tough, and and we can kind of have him do certain things that Nate would probably do in a fight. And I got guys like him. I got guys like Dan Ige over at Extreme. We get sparring rounds in, and same with him, man. He's one of those guys that's kind of built like him and just kind of pressures. So and then we have a whole just a list of guys. Whether it's Extreme, it's 10th Planet. Just so many good grapplers, so many good strikers, so many different people. Alon Cruz, he just got down here I would say maybe 5 or 6 months ago. He's been training with us a bunch, and he's got a fight. I I think like a couple weeks after I have a fight, and then we got guys like Andy Valera, who's not in the UFC or anything, but he's a fantastic grappler, and he helps me out with my jiu-jitsu as well as Casey Halstead, my coach. And but I mean, it's just a long list, and I'm probably gonna forget a million names, but
no worries.
We have Cody Staman's getting ready for his fight. We have him in the gym. Shoot, I mean, just all.
Are you working with Jeremy Kennedy at all? I know he's still down there, is he not?
Yeah, for sure. My bad. I forgot about him as well.
No worries. I have to mention him Canadian, obviously, and Jeremy lives like his house in Langley is only like half an hour away from where I live. So.
Oh wow! Well, yeah. So we have actually we have a lot of the Canadian guys. We have Jeremy and Tristan just showed up. Tristan
Connolly, he's down there now. Nice.
He said he's gonna be down here for the next few months and hopefully get a fight. He said that going back and forth to Canada is difficult right now because the COVID thing.
Yeah, I haven't been to the States since 2019 because of the it's tough to cross the border. Like I'm only 5 minutes away from the Washington State border, but I can't go because of all that stuff, right? So
yeah, and so he said that I go back and forth with Tristan. Me and him are we clicked right away when he started training with us. He came. I mean, he's been in and out of the gym, for the last, I would say maybe year and a half, and we just clicked. We have like a really similar style. We're both just tough, durable dogs. Like we just like love to fight, and we're not spectacular at any aspect of it all. But one thing that we do shine is our toughness and our durability. Just like a guy like Nate Landwehr. That's why I think it's gonna be a good fight. But Tristan, me and him get along really well, and same with Jeremy. Jeremy's a solid dude, and just brings a lot to the table as a training partner. He's got really good grappling. He's been around the sport for a long time. Been in and out of the UFC. He's in Bellator now, and he's been grinding just like all of us. So we all get each other, and we all understand. We're all starting to get. We're all close to the age of 30. Well, I'm 31. Tristan's a little older than that, but Jeremy's like 28, 29, and so he's a mature guy just like I am, and we kind of have our ducks in the same order, and it's nice to have each other help each other. But yeah, Jeremy's man, he's in here, and he comes to Vegas quite a bit, so it's really nice to get him. But man, there's like so many gyms and so many people training at different schedules that like sometimes you only see some of these guys, for a couple of training sessions in the week, and then I'm doing this and this and this, and they're doing this and this, and some people have their strength and conditioning, and they're doing the PI at different times, So you see a lot of these guys in passing and in training, a couple of times a week. So sometimes I might only see Jeremy, but 2 or 3 times a week. Sometimes I'll see him 7 times a week. So it just it's just kind of how the week is scheduled and what he's got going on versus what I got going on. And but yeah, there's just a million guys up here.
Good stuff. It's a Pacific Northwest thing. I think that you guys all get along, right? So there you go. It's pretty close quarters.
Yeah,
that's good. Exactly. How's the fight playing out in the 20th? How do you envision the fight playing going down?
I'm assuming he's gonna want to put the pressure on me. I'm gonna want to do the same as well, but I need to keep my my range with my sticks. I'm long and I'm lanky. I got long arms. I got long legs, and I gotta just keep him at bay. I gotta really just kind of pick him apart from the outside and get him frustrated and come in blindly. I don't want him to get comfortable and pressure me where he's comfortable. I want him to get uncomfortable and try to pressure me. That's where I think kind of those sniper shots will come in, and I can maybe set up some bigger shots to finish a fight on him if he's coming in, a little frustrated and blinded. If he's coming in because he feels like he's got the edge and he's feeling himself in the fight and he starts getting comfortable, I think that's where I'll be getting in a little bit of trouble. So I don't want to just brawl with him. Although at any given point, it's probably going to happen. There's going to be that fine line of, like I said, where I need to be technical, but at any given time, I might just flip the switch and just be like, yeah, let's just go. Let's just duck our heads and throw these bombs. But I plan on keeping him at range and just using my teeps and my jab to really keep him at range and try to set up a couple of specific shots, not just brawl with him.
Good catching up with you. Glad to see you get a fight finally with all the things last year. Just remind people where they can find you on social media, and if you got any sponsors or shout outs, I'll give you the last word.
You can reach out to me on Instagram. Actually, my Instagram I got hacked, so I have a new Instagram. It's Julian_Erosa. Makes it easy. Facebook's just my name, Julian Erosa. Twitter, Julian Erosa. I think. I don't really do much on my Twitter. But Instagram is probably the best way to reach out to me. Sponsors, man, I got a lot of sponsors, but I won't remember hardly any of them. But a big shout out to my management team, Jason House on Iridium. They set up everything for me. So, and then also the UFC PI, those guys do everything for me as well. You know, they work on us, give us supplements, they do all this, all the hard stuff that we need to do. They make it easier for us, all the weight cut, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, you know, obviously there's a lot of sponsors, but I don't want to name off a couple and then forget other ones. So
for sure, you're always posting on your social media anyways, so it's all good.
If you want to know any of my sponsors, just my Instagram, I'll have them on there. So, but yes, I appreciate you, James, for having me on again. It's always a pleasure talking to you.